Maria's kinda picky and got used to the lunchboxes I made her. From dating in college to getting hitched, that habit lasted nearly 10 years. Until one day, one of those lunchboxes ended up on her company's assistant Mark's social media. Seriously? Who even uses such outdated, ugly lunchboxes now? That day, she came home empty-handed. I asked, "Where's the lunchbox?" She goes, "I thought about it, and like expired food, the box is past its due too. It's time to toss it. You should go buy a new one tomorrow." Thinking about how she's been coming home late and how her phone is now off limits, it hit me. The lunchbox wasn't old, her love for me was. But when I decided to end this expired love, she regretted it. "Where's the lunchbox?" For the first time, Maria came back empty-handed. The familiar lunchbox was nowhere in sight. I asked on purpose, wanting to hear it from her. Maria shrugged and sat down. "I've used it for years, it was about time. Buy a new one tomorrow." I stared at her stubbornly. "Where's the lunchbox?" Maria suddenly got mad, holding back unknown emotions. "I threw it out. You know how long I've used that thing. Food has an expiration date, so did it. I don't get it, why question me over a lunchbox? It's like you're cooking always the same stuff. Tom, do you have to be so set in your ways? You have no idea how suffocating it is. All my coworkers have so many options every day, but I'm the only one bringing lunch. Have you seen any boss carry a lunchbox every day? I've respected you enough, why be this pushy?" I watched her vent. The frown on her face seemed so far from the girl who once begged me to make her lunch. She seemed to have forgotten it was her who said no other food could make her feel like what I cooked did. And it was she who begged me for these lunches. Got it. My tone was flat. Maria looked like she'd punched a pillow. The atmosphere got a bit awkward. She rubbed her nose, pulled herself together, and sat down. "That's not what I meant." I stopped her. "Don't say it. The bath's ready, just go take a shower." Once she went in, I opened up that social platform again. I stumbled across her company assistant Mark's account by accident, because there was Maria in his post. I knew everyone at her company except Mark. She kept him a secret. No one mentioned him to me. Mark's posts were all about eating, sleeping, and Maria. Curious, I kept checking it out. Today, he posted my morning-made lunchbox. "Boss is generous. Can't eat takeout with my tummy issues." And boom, she gives me her homemade lunch. Tastes good, but this lunchbox is so tacky. So, did Maria dump the lunchbox over his words? 6 years of dating and 4 years of marriage, Maria was always gentle with me. Thinking of her late nights and the no-touch phone rule now. Mark's cheerful smile on the screen started to sting. It wasn't the lunchbox that turned outdated. It wasn't the meals that got tiresome. Was it me? When Maria got out of the shower, I was still on the couch. She sighed, stood before me. "Still mad?" Her voice turned softer. "I got a bit emotional earlier. I take back what I said. But Tom, you really made me feel bad over a lunchbox. No need to keep asking. I'll buy a new one tomorrow, and you can make me lunch again. Okay?" I moved my head away from her reach and looked up at her. "Maria, do you remember what that lunchbox means?" Annoyed, she tugged her hair. "It's just a lunchbox. What's it supposed to mean?" Mid-sentence, something dawned on her. Her eyes showed a trace of panic. "I threw it in the company's dumpster. I'll go look for it now." She rushed out so fast, she didn't even change out of her robe. Maybe she remembered. That lunchbox's meaning to me. I've always been a picky eater, and my mom would make my meals fun to get me to eat more. She'd be thrilled to see me well-fed. So, when it came to Maria wanting those lunches, I was happy to do it. Mom's influence taught me it was the best way to show love. Making the comforts of home for the one you love. Later, my mom got cancer and hid it from me to keep me worry-free. My dad passed when I was too young to remember. It was just Mom and me since forever. When it was out in the open, she was already at her end. But she still worried about my meals. Even though I had a wife and was a grown-up, the food in the lunchbox was her last meal for me. After she passed, Maria took care of everything. I kneeled in mourning, holding the lunchbox. Maria was by my side with red eyes. "Mom, rest assured. I'll always take care of Tom, just like you. I'll do an even better job." We shared the lunch, every bite. She cherished that box, and it became a symbol of continuity. Love's continuity. But Maria threw it away with her own hands. Early fall's a bit chilly, but Maria came back with a light sheen of sweat on her forehead. She looked really disheveled. Her robe had stains on it, and she gave off a smell that was hard to describe. She held a filthy lunchbox, grinning at me like a weight had been lifted. Tom, I got it back. The night outside was getting colder and wetter. For the first time, I felt like I couldn't quite see Maria clearly. I cleaned that old lunchbox and put it away safely. Just like she wanted, I stopped making her lunches. As for Mark, I didn't probe or bring it up. I just had this feeling that some things change once you talk about them. And that night, seeing Maria come back, holding that lunchbox, made my heart soft for some reason. I told myself, just wait a little longer. Maria's stomach has always been an issue. All those nights out have landed her in the hospital more than once. I hadn't been keeping an eye on her meals lately, and she was back in the hospital again. I sighed and took care of her there. When she's sick, Maria gets a bit childish. She obediently reached out her hand for me to wipe. There was a hint of grievance in her voice. Tom, I'm like this, and you're still sulking with me? It seemed like she'd forgotten the harsh words she said that night, believing I stopped making her lunches to spite her. I casually lifted my gaze. I'm just trying to stop being a burden, not holding a grudge. She paused for a moment, then gently pulled me into her arms. I admit it, okay? I really miss your cooking. The food here is awful. I've gotten used to eating your meals. See, you didn't look after me these days and now I'm sick. I let her hug me. After a while, I finally wrapped my arms around her waist. Seeing me soften, Maria held me tighter, like she was treating a cherished treasure she'd regained. Just as my shaky heart was about to finally settle, the hospital room door swung open. It was some of Maria's co-workers coming to visit. I quickly pulled away from her embrace, but Maria stubbornly held onto my hand. What's there to worry about? We're an old married couple, let them see, she said. Everyone came in, all smiles except for Mark, who stuck out like a sore thumb. He was glaring at my and Maria's joined hands, looking gloomy. But Maria seemed at ease, joking around with everyone while holding my hand. Bro-in-law, haven't seen those trusty lunches of yours lately. Maria missed them so much she ended up in the hospital. Someone teased. I made an excuse about being busy and let it slide, while everyone teased Maria about being lucky. Then Mark chimed in with a tone dripping in sarcasm. Oh wow, so the food was all made by bro-in-law? Funny, every time I said food outside sucked, Maria would offer me her lunchbox. I thought it was made by their housekeeper, who knew I had the honor of eating bro-in-law's cooking. Anyone could pick up on the hostility in his words. Everyone exchanged looks, and the atmosphere got awkwardly tense. Maria squeezed my hand tighter, her gaze towards me turning uneasy. I pulled my hand away, smoothly diffusing the tension. As long as you like the food, let's all get together sometime. Maria can bring you guys to the house and I'll cook for everyone. I kept the mood light so everyone felt at ease again. Bro-in-law is so generous. We're in for a treat. Yeah, bro-in-law Mark just joined 6 months ago, fresh out of college. He's still learning to watch his words. Don't mind him. Do you make braised pork with abalone? We've seen Maria eating it all the time and we're dying to try it. Everyone talked over each other, sidling Mark to the background. His gaze towards me grew colder. Maria discreetly exhaled and cast him a disapproving look. Noticing her gaze, Mark pouted, looking a little aggrieved. Maria's eyes held a silent warning. Eventually, Mark reluctantly nodded. I watched their little exchange, bemused by how they thought they were being subtle. Oh, Maria, what part of this is real with you and what part is just an act? Being with Maria seemed like it just made sense. Because of her upbringing, she developed an eating disorder back in high school. In college, she looked so frail and pale, with a deep, impenetrable look in her eyes. People are often drawn to mysterious things. Maria was beautifully mysterious, so much so that other girls overlooked the gloom she carried. But she never responded to anyone and kept to herself. Inexplicably, I found myself noticing this classmate who never spoke to anyone. One day at the cafeteria, I opened my homemade lunch as usual. Thanks to my mom's influence, my cooking skills were pretty decent. Since I wasn't a fan of communal living, I didn't apply to live on campus. Instead, I rented an apartment in a neighborhood close to school. So, I brought my own lunch every day. That day, while eating, I watched Maria sitting in a corner. She seemed like a solitary figure, detached from the hustle and bustle of the world. Maybe my gaze was a bit too intense, because she looked up and met my eyes. At that moment, I was gnawing on a chicken wing, not the most graceful sight. Maria just watched me eat, her throat moving slightly, and then slowly picked up some white rice in front of her. She still ate very little, but that was the most I'd seen her eat in over a month of observing her. That evening, she stopped me. She seemed a bit embarrassed. "Hey, can I ask where you bought your food? It looks really appetizing." Before I could reply, she hurried to explain, "Don't worry, I'm not a weirdo. Your food just looks very tempting, and for the first time I feel like eating." I didn't know she had an eating disorder then. If someone said something so random to me, no matter how attractive they were, I'd think they were nuts. But the sincerity in Maria's eyes got to me. I couldn't turn her down. I stepped forward with a grin, catching a whiff of the lemon-scented laundry detergent from her clothes. That refreshing scent made the summer night feel just right. "Unfortunately, it's my own recipe. I made it myself, can't find it outside." She mumbled an "oh," thanked me politely, and walked away looking a bit down. I didn't realize at the time how fed up she was with taking ineffective meds every day and how much she hated those regular nutrition shots. So, the next day I placed a lunchbox in front of her. The light in her eyes that day has stayed with me for years. With my company, she gradually got better, and we naturally got together. Everyone said we were meant to be. She smiled brightly, no longer gloomy, holding me as if I were a rare treasure. Thinking about all this made me give in a little. I had just refused Maria's request for a packed lunch that morning, but by noon, I couldn't help but worry. I was concerned she might eat unhealthily just after being discharged. I sighed, made some of her favorite dishes, and delivered them to her office. During lunch, most people had stepped out. Maria's office door was slightly ajar. As I approached, I heard Mark's voice. "Your husband really didn't make you lunch today? How stingy of him." Maria's voice sounded a bit helpless. "Why mention that again? You just love causing misunderstandings." "Huh?" Mark seemed a bit wronged. "I was just speaking my mind. It's just a lunchbox. Come on." "Why? Scared he'll get mad? You said it yourself, it's always the same few dishes, you tired of them or something. Are you really that scared of him? You're Maria, for goodness sake." Maria didn't reply. I clutched the lunchbox tighter. Last time, after I handed her the food, she gobbled it down. I finally understood that look in my mom's eyes every time I ate her dishes, affection and joy. Over the month we'd been together, Maria's health improved. Her complexion brightened, and her spirits became more upbeat. I started inviting her to my little place and whipped up different meals for her. I thought she just had a medical eating disorder, but the way she looked at me, with eyes full of tenderness, told a deeper story. She said I was sent by heaven to save her. I playfully pinched her cheek. "Can't be that serious, Maria. You make it sound like I'm your savior or something." I was pleased with my altruism. Maria, she truly was a wonderful partner. She stared at me with a devout seriousness. "Yes, Tom, you are my savior." I only then began to grasp the significance of my meals to her. They were a kind of salvation. Maria had a father who was a compulsive gambler, to the extent that he didn't recognize his own kin. Her mom couldn't bear it and ran off with someone else. Her home often had strange women coming and going. Seeing young Maria, they vented their anger towards her dad onto her. They would force leftover, expired, moldy food down her throat. From a young age, she developed a terror of food. Later, her dad won a huge amount and wanted to settle down with one of the women. But that woman took off with the money. Her dad, enraged, took it out on the clueless Maria, stuffing rotten food into her mouth in a fit of rage, crying and crying. "You're the bad luck ruining my streak. You say you're hungry while I'm playing. Aren't you? Eat it. Swallow it. If it weren't for a neighbor intervening, that might have been her last day. Her dad later died in a drunk driving accident. Maria's mom eventually came back for her. She had started her own business, saved up some money, and took Maria with her. Even if Maria is starving, she's not willing to eat anymore. Her mom feels terrible for her. They've been trying treatments for years, but with little success. Until they met me. Maria once saw me as her salvation. Now, she's casually telling someone else she's tired of the food I make. I'm not sure if it's the food she's tired of, or if it's me. Inside, Mark is nagging her to go get sushi. Maria agrees. I let out a cold laugh and turn away, tossing the lunchbox into the trash. Maria must have seen it because she came home early that night, looking a bit unsure. Tom, my stomach still doesn't feel right. Can you make me a bowl of chicken noodle soup? I looked at her for a long time. I said, Maria, let's get a divorce. My mom used to tell me when food expires, just throw it away. Tom, learn to cut your losses early, because keeping expired food might land you in the hospital. You'd be losing both time and money. Trying to save a bit can lead to bigger losses. We can't be the ones chasing after pennies and dropping dimes. I guess my mom was always wise. I should have cut my losses when Maria said the lunchbox was expired. My fault for not seeing it clearly. Why? Do you even know what you're saying? Maria stopped pretending. Her hand dropped from her stomach, and she looked at me confusedly. I stared at her without much emotion. My mom treated her kindly, just like she did with me as a kid, making different dishes for her. She'd say, kids should eat more. Come back often with Tom, and I'll cook for you. Watching Maria devour the food, Mom's eyes would fill with tears. How can parents be so irresponsible? She felt extra compassion for Maria. But Maria easily tossed aside the only thing left by someone she's known for just 6 months. For Maria, I gave up a chance to study abroad. Back then, after her mom passed away, her anorexia returned. Her relationship with her mom was complicated. She hadn't forgiven her, but she loved her. Her passing turned their relationship into a deadlock. During that time, she couldn't even eat the food my mom made. It was only what I cooked that she could manage to eat, bit by bit. So, I turned down the chance abroad, even though just a year away could have significantly boosted my career. And now, she tells someone else she's tired of the meals I make for her. She once said I was a light in her life. Without me, she couldn't imagine how long she'd stumble in the darkness. But for the past 6 months, she's been coming home later and later. The dinner on the table gets colder, and the light meant to guide her home turns on later and later too. She seems like a different person now, not considering whether I'd be hurt. I broke her darkness, but now she's leaving me stranded in it. I can't touch her phone anymore. Last time, when she was in the shower, I answered a work call for her. She snatched her phone back nervously and yelled at me for the first time, saying I don't respect her. I was just answering a call. Is she afraid I'd see her flirty chats with Mark? Or is she scared I'd find out about all the places they went on those late nights? So, tell me why? Are these reasons enough? I said a lot in one breath, then poured myself a glass of water. Maria stared at me wide-eyed. Just because of this? Over a lunchbox? You want a divorce? When Maria feels guilty, she raises her voice without even realizing it. She's smart, ignoring the Mark part and focusing on the lunchbox. Tom, have I ever told you how stubborn you are? I admit, I neglected the significance of that lunchbox to you, but I made up for it as soon as I realized. I'm the CEO of a public company now, yet I went dumpster diving in my pajamas for you. Doesn't that show how much I care? We could have a good life together. Why are you hung up on this mistake? When we got together, we agreed never to casually mention breaking up. But you're casually throwing out the word divorce? Her voice got louder, more outrageous. Let's be blunt, it was something left by a dead person. Your mom was a great person. I'm grateful for her and respect her. But she's gone. You know? In the future, I'm the one who'll be with you. You want to end this for something left by someone who's deceased? I stood up and slapped her. Hard enough that my palm went numb. Maria, you've crossed a line. This house was left to me by my mom. Wanting to remember her, Maria agreed to live here after we got married. Calmly, I gathered her things. I'll talk to a lawyer and get you the divorce papers. Don't worry, I won't take advantage of you. This house is mine, you should find somewhere else to stay. Seeing me resolute, Maria tossed her packed luggage onto the floor, fuming. I wasn't upset. I simply crouched and picked everything up, one item at a time. She threw, I picked. We stubbornly repeated our actions. In the end, she begged me to stop. Tom, don't do this. I'll change everything. Okay? I pulled my shirt out of her grasp, still calm. Maria, you still don't see your problem. You relied on the meals I made because they comforted you. But after eating them for so long, you got tired and began craving fancy dishes from outside. So what if you end up in the hospital? You're happy in the moment, right? But Maria, how can people be so greedy? It's not just spoiled food that lands you in the hospital. Overeating can make you sick too. So I let you go. Now you can save your appetite for those fancy dishes out there. I'm like homemade food, whereas Mark is like those fancy dishes. That's why Maria was drawn to him. She knew she couldn't handle it, yet she couldn't resist giving it a try. She understood my metaphor, and her face turned pale. I could explain if needed. I shook my head. There's no need to explain. We've been together for so many years, you should know me by now. Maria's right. I'm a stubborn person. I won't wait for someone to get tired of indulging outside and come back begging for a simple bowl of chicken noodle soup. Mom was right, it's important to cut your losses in time. Even if it's Maria. Habits are powerful things. Parents usually don't give kids candy because once they taste it, they'll never forget that taste, even if it means cavities. This time I forgave her. Maybe Maria will cherish it for a while. But temptation, who can truly resist it? This life of uncertainty is not what I, Tom, ever wanted. I handed her the luggage again and asked her to leave. After Maria left, I pulled out the lunchbox I had put away. I've always taken care of it. But at some point, a crack appeared at the bottom. Its experience in the trash left some stains that wouldn't wash off. See, everything leaves a mark. I gave Maria the divorce papers through my lawyer. She didn't react. I didn't care. Worst case, I'd file for divorce. I was busy with plans to go abroad. Too busy to worry about it. Luckily, my company gave me another chance. That day, while packing for next month's departure, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. It was Mark. The young guy was indeed full of energy, even in the role of a boyfriend. Tom, can I come in and talk? I politely stepped aside. As soon as he entered the living room, he dramatically covered his nose. Wow, what a strong smell of cooking oil. Tom, are you always this messy at home? I had just finished dinner, but it wasn't as bad as he made it sound. No wonder Maria's been staying at the office lately. I wouldn't want to come back either. I didn't have time for sarcasm and told him to get to the point. He hesitated for a moment, then burst into laughter. As expected, a straight shooter. I just wanted to tell you today that you're not right for Maria. I watched him with interest. Oh, and who is? You? Kid, it's fine to take shortcuts, but have some morals. It'll come back to bite you if you mess with someone who has a family. He was so angry his delicate features twisted into a scowl. You getting dumped was only a matter of time, he snapped. Do you even know that Maria's tired of you? All you do is cook, cook, cook. It's a pain. With so much good food out there, who cares about your cooking? You think you're making a big contribution or that you're amazing. Please, women hate that burden. He gave me a meaningful look. Honestly, I was a bit impressed by his audacity. If that's the case, why don't you say this to Maria? Isn't she staying at the office, which is perfect for your little world? Why come running to me, embarrassed and angry? Or maybe Maria is fed up and wants some homemade food again. Kid, don't objectify yourself. It's not worth it for a woman. Maria explained a lot to me. She said she and Mark had some flirtation, but it never went beyond that. On those late nights, they went to amusement parks, explored alleyways for food, and ate at popular restaurants. But they never went to hotels. Maria was smart, always leaving herself an out. But she didn't know that sharing everyday life is a deeper bond than physical desire. I was shocked by Maria's shamelessness. and grateful I wasn't blinded by 10 years of feelings. Thankfully, I had the courage to cut losses in time. In the end, Mark stormed out angrily. Rejected by Maria and humbled by me, I guessed Maria was having a tough time. Sure enough, Mark made a scene. He claimed he and Maria had feelings, and that Maria abandoned him due to my threats. He demanded accountability from Maria. The drama blew up, even getting filmed and shared on local video platforms. Morality tales have always been a captivating watch. People dug up Maria's information, causing a nosedive in her company's stock price. Eventually, unable to withstand the pressure from other shareholders, she promised Mark an explanation. On our way to the marriage office, she gave me a pleading look. "Tom, if you forgive me, I can give up the company. Let's leave here and start over. Okay?" I looked at her and walked in without a word. My future was bright. After returning from abroad, I'd be a regional manager at headquarters. Who'd want to start over with her? Getting the divorce certificate finally set me free. The year abroad went smoothly, and I learned a lot. Without being tied down to daily chores, I discovered how vast the world could be. A year later, when I returned, my colleagues gave me a grand farewell party. "Tom, we hope you'll have a great career after returning home. Don't let yourself get restrained, and come visit us often," my foreign colleagues said in broken Chinese. I hugged them with tears in my eyes. No worries. I won't be tied down by those lunchboxes anymore. After returning home, my boss gave me a week to recharge. Rested, I went with him to discuss an important collaboration. I never expected to see Maria again in this lifetime. I have to say, time is a wonderful thing. A year on, the good and bad memories had already faded. So when facing Maria, I could calmly extend my hand. "Maria, I hope today's meeting goes smoothly." Maria held my hand, trying hard not to tremble. Her eyes went from hopeful and excited to dull. I took out the papers, all business, not really looking at her. In the end, Maria didn't compromise with Mark. She sold her shares and started a new company. Now she's doing quite well. The contract stuff went smoothly. Both sides were good with the terms. Then, right when the waiter was serving the food, a crazy man burst in. "Maria, why aren't you answering my calls? Do you know the lengths I went to just to get your new number?" Mark wasn't his usual self. Maria shot me a look, frowned, then spoke to Mark. "I thought I was clear. We have nothing to do with each other. Please don't come looking for me again." Mark was losing it. "Liar. You're such a liar. You were the one who came to me first. What gives you the right to just leave me?" Then he saw me and rushed at me viciously. "Is it because of this guy? He doesn't want you, yet you're still hanging around like an idiot." The boss stepped in front of me, staring meaningfully at Maria. "Maria, I don't care about your personal life, but if this hurts my employees, we need to talk." Maria apologized to us repeatedly, then called security to get Mark out. He fought hard, creating a mess. Two middle-aged people burst in. They went at Mark, beating him up. "Useless. I sent you to college, to the city, hoping you'd marry well, get money for your brother's wedding and house. But what did you do? Living it up, spending on yourself, never sending anything home. You got dumped and you still hang around?" Mark seemed scared of the ranting man, losing his cocky attitude, looking all meek. "Dad, give me another chance. I'll make her give money for my brother's house." The woman spat at Maria. "You poor thing. So cheap. Let's see when you go bankrupt. Don't waste time. Your brother can't wait. No house, no marriage. Come back with us. We've collected the bride price in the village." Hard to imagine parents like this these days, but nobody stopped them. Mark got dragged away, desperate. No wonder he clung to Maria like that, even willing to be the other man. Maria's move made him hopeful, but it was all for nothing. The meal ended badly. Maria was pale, her eyes vacant. She probably thought of her own chaotic childhood. This time, she pushed herself into the darkness. And I didn't have a spare hand to pull her back. 2 months later, Maria showed up outside my place. "Sorry, Tom. I know I shouldn't come to you." I stepped back, avoiding her touch. "What is it?" She laughed at herself. "Could you make me a lunchbox again?" I haven't had a proper meal in a while. Just can't eat. Maria looked much thinner than last time, her face unnaturally pale. Her eyes were full of that depth again, like when we first talked. She had cautiously asked where to buy my lunch boxes, with so much hope. Sorry, Maria, I haven't made lunch boxes in a long time. I can't do that for you. Her hand rose and fell in the dark, eventually dropping in defeat. I moved past her to go upstairs. Tom, she called from behind. If I didn't crave the new things outside, would we be like this? I just really miss your cooking. I was wrong, I truly was. The night wind was strong, scattering the realization she found too late. I said nothing, didn't turn back. The boss learned about our past and didn't let me handle that project anymore. After that, I never saw Maria again. Much later, an old college friend asked to meet. She handed me a letter. It's from Maria. She regrets it, but couldn't face you. I calmly tore the letter and threw it in the trash. We can catch up, but let's skip the rest. My friend seemed surprised. Tom, I didn't know you could be so cold. I didn't argue. What happened between Maria and me is too complex to explain. To others, it was just a fling with a subordinate. That's all. So, I'm cold? Whatever. She gave a bitter smile. Maria's not doing well. Her eating disorder's back. She's shockingly thin. She can't work or live normally anymore. She's full of regret. Ended her company and left. No idea where. She wanted me to give you the letter before she left. Didn't expect you wouldn't even look. She pulled out a card. This is money from selling her company. She only took a little for herself, wanted me to find a reason to hand the rest to you. She didn't want me to tell you her situation, but I thought it was unfair to her. I put the card away, oddly eyeing the person in front of me. If she didn't want you to tell me, why did you? To make me feel bad? Honestly, it doesn't bother me now. And why write me a letter? Truly disappearing doesn't involve goodbyes. Besides, like I said before, when we got divorced, I told her clearly, her body's her own. Nobody else can save her. The first time I tried to save her, it took me 10 years. I don't have the energy to save her a second time. Plus, she didn't appreciate it herself. This money barely compensates me for those 10 years. I took it without a second thought. I stood up, looking at her. Tomorrow's the day I leave for the headquarters. Not much chance for us to keep in touch anyway. My new life is busy and fulfilling. I started to take care of myself, making all sorts of pretty and tasty meals, but I never made them for anyone else again. I'm the only one who gets fed now. 2 years later, I got a call from an unknown number. Maria developed severe anorexia, which led to major depression. She ended things in a small fishing village. Can you come by? I was momentarily stunned to hear this news. Then, a coworker's voice snapped me out of it. Sorry, I'm busy. Ripples from a pebble are pretty much negligible. Expired food belongs in the trash. Whether it's a dumpster or a landfill doesn't concern me. The same goes for people who are expired.